of the business. In the first presentation, we listened to what is it and how to handle professional sales objection by salespeople in our team. During the course of that, we understand what are sales objections, what sales objections are, different types of sales objections, then the rules guiding the sales objection that the salespeople should take it as part of the normal process of selling. So when we send our salespeople out and the salespeople are doing a handling objection, they should know that it's not passed up, it's just part of the game. And it's a sign that the customer is interested in what they're doing and what they're selling. And we also look at the major objections areas. These are divided into like 6 major areas. There will be a lot of objections, but you can group them into 6. One of them majorly is has to do with price that we looked at yesterday. And we also look at when to answer sales objection during the course of making the sales presentation. There are different times at which you handle this. We also look at different types of ways to handle this price objection and the likely response you're supposed to give to your customers or your prospect as it were. So you'll be able to go through the sales process more professionally. The presenter also took us to who is an ethical salesperson, because we started with the definition of who a salesman is, and we've got different kind of definition and responses from that, and which then we now sum them up to say, look, yes, all these are correct, but for being an ethical and professionally sound salesperson, this is what we require. So the essence, the takeaway from that topic yesterday is to say, look, if I'm running an organization, if I'm running a business, in handling sales objection, which are the major thing that customers or salespeople usually dread, is that when customers use objection, it becomes scary. So these are the essence of that is to prepare salespeople for them to be very ready to be able to handle such things and go through with their sales. The second topic talks about the sales forecast. In forecasting sales for people, for organizations to run their businesses, to sell their brands, it's important that, yes, the speaker spoke passionately about show us some statistics, some data today. We didn't get as much as we forecast, and the need for us to make the forecast is important. So he shared with us how important it is to make sales forecast. He shows us figures, shows us data, and the need for us to be able to treat it from different angles to ensure that as we go with the forecast, we can adjust it quarterly, half yearly, and end of the year, begin to rejig our forecast to be able to get what we want. Shows different techniques of making sales forecasts were shown to us, several of them, but then we have to do a lot of research to be sure that we are online and in line with what kind of business that we do. He also discussed the sales teams and the forecasting methods that our sales team needs to handle and how the impact of forecasts on the sales team. If the sales team is going to be, I was talking about if sales team is going to have its pay as part of the forecast will affect its pay, be very careful giving you the appropriate forecast. They may be playing games, but if it is not, they are likely to be very, very objective in their forecasts and the figures and the data they give to you to make decisions. So it's important for us as leaders of sales team, of the sales organizations that we are, it's important that we know that we take sales forecast very, very important. In Africa, we also look at Africa, Nigeria, and the issue with sales forecast. That was given to us by the presenter who told us, look, in terms of when it comes to sales forecast in this part of the world, because of inadequacy of data, a lot of the time what we do is wrong. And when we forecast events that happens, that makes it a little bit challenging. Things we don't think can happen, and eventually it just happen, and it becomes a force majeure. We'll not be able to deliver. He also shows us some different strategies to overcome issues in sales forecast. Different kind of strategies were highlighted at the end of the presentation to us. Look, if you run into this problem with sales forecasting, these are some of the things we need to do. And finally, at the end of the day, there was a group discussion on talking about, we got 3 experts who came, who give us an idea, give us a basic concept and the principles all around declining consumer income today and the challenges of keeping up with the targets of meeting sales targets. So these were the major highlights. We discussed from different angles. The graphs were shown when the income goes up, when incomes go down, the likely reaction, and what's the effects on our sales targets. And that was all. There was a lot of question and answer in between, and we will respond. We got professional response. And it was a great learning experience for me, and I'm sure for every other person that was part of the session yesterday. So that's how we went through the entire session yesterday, and we rounded up by comment and commendation, and we had a nice day. Here we are today. I'm sure we're going to run through the program, and it promises, like I said earlier on, to be a very bright day. So we take it from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm really very thankful. That was the recap was very on point. One actually, like, it was as if we were walking through the process of everything that we spoke about again yesterday. Thank you very much, sir. So I'd like to call upon our next, our first speaker for today. But before I do that, it would be an honor to introduce him to you all. I'll do that right away. So our first speaker for this morning is Nana Akuto Agiakong. Nana is a business professional with experience in telecoms, BAS, media, information technology, fintech, and agribusiness. He holds a BS in telecommunications engineering from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and an executive MBA in marketing from the University of Ghana, both in Ghana. His experience spans across sales and distribution, business development, commercial strategy, digital marketing, segment marketing, customer support, customer experience, and product marketing. He's currently the head of DSTV business in Ghana. I'd like to call upon Nana, I beg your pardon, to kindly give us his talk on understanding your customer, the critical aspect of the journey. So I'll just stop my share so you can put up your slides if you have any.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for not butchering my name. Yeah. So good morning. It's nice to be here. I've had a number of sessions like this in the past few months. So I think it's a good sign that we are all growing. And then the world is becoming a small marketplace. And so we share ideas across borders. And thanks to technology, I don't have to fly to Nigeria. I can sit here in Ghana and make this happen. So today we are talking about understanding the customer, which I think is a very critical aspect of sales. Not only sales, but in any business strategy, you need to be able to understand who you are in business for, because the one that is paying our salaries and maintaining our business is the customer. And so it's the customer that's forcing us to do the things that we do, and sometimes even the things we don't want to do. The customer dictates. Sometimes you have to do a price adjustment because the customer says so. And so you balance your books and see if you can have some leeway to make any price adjustment. Sometimes you don't want to do a sales promotion, but the customer says you have to do a sales promotion. And so you have to do a sales promotion because you need to meet the needs of the customer. I mean, keeping profitability in mind as well. So I think understanding the customer is very critical in anything that you do. Even if you are selling goods, physical goods, products, or even service, you are definitely selling to an end consumer. And so the customer is very key. I think this has been done already, so I would skip this slide. All right, so this is my favorite picture ever, that the customer is king. Throughout my career, I've had a lot of contention with this image. Anytime I show it, some people say, oh, the customer is king. Others say, oh, it's not always the case. And then I ask those that say it's not always the case, that who pays us? Because if you have a fantastic product, let me use MultiChoice as an example. If you have a fantastic product like a DSTV box and it's sitting in the warehouse, I don't know how that one will turn into revenue until you reach out to somebody to make a purchase. So even if the person is within the company, it's still a customer. And so, like I mentioned earlier, the customer defines how the business is run. And sometimes you start a business like an entrepreneur and you start with some level of pricing and go-to-market approach. You run the business for maybe 6 months and you realize that you need to change your strategy because it doesn't fit the customer. And I want to pause here and ask those on the call, if they buy into this, the customer is king mantra. If anybody can share any thoughts around this, whether it's you are for or against the customer is king in your own sales journey. Anyone? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I'm asking if anyone has any different opinion on this customer is king mantra that salespeople and marketing people always sing. Anytime they want additional budget, they will tell MD that the customer is king. And so you have to give us more money to go and serve the customer even better. But I believe in that fact that the customer defines us and he pays our check at the end of the month. If customers are not buying your product or service is sitting on the shelf, and you might end up losing market share because perhaps you are not listening to your customer. So for any profit-making organization, the agenda is to move the product to the market. And the market here is your customer. And so anytime you are putting your business strategy together, there's this sweet spot that you want to sit at, which is a product market fit, which is something that a lot of startups struggle to have. And I've worked and consulted for some startups in the market. And normally they don't seem to understand which segment of the market or which customer they are targeting. And so they have a very nice product. I worked with a fintech company who has a very nice product. APIs are being called. There's 99% uptime. The interface is amazing. He has onboarded all the vendors. There's value on the product, but nobody is downloading it or nobody is subscribing to that fintech product to make purchases or payments or any other thing that you require that service for. And because the guy hasn't identified or profiled the customer or the segment of the market that best fit his product. And so he assumes that once he has this product, it's a mass market product and it is one size fits all, which is an issue that we normally would have in business. We assume that once this product is good for you, it's good for everyone, which normally is not the case. And so you can even have one product that is a very niche product. not a mass market product. But if your assumption is that because you like it, everybody will like it, so it's a mass market product, you will not achieve what we call the product market fit. And then your business begins to fail, even though you have very good products or you have a very good service, but you are not able to marry your product to the market, whether the channel, the distribution, the go-to-market approach, even the segmentation and the positioning of your brand in the market. You need to understand who you are selling to before you can do brand positioning. It is very, very critical. And then the approach and the tone of the message. If you understand your customer, you know what approach to use. And understanding your customer is also understanding the product that you are selling, and that would inform the go-to-market that you use, because you need to achieve product market fit for your product to survive in the market, or for you to be able to sell as a salesperson. You need to understand the segment. You might be a regional sales manager. You have a very big region or territory. Even within your territory, you need to do segmentation and then position your products in each segment. You need to do maybe an age demographic. You need to do maybe a sex demographic. Is your product skewed more towards females than males? Is it a youthful product? Is it for low value consumers or mid to high value, or is a premium product? You need to be able to identify your target audience based on the knowledge of your own product, which some people even fail at. I've consulted for a company who didn't even understand the segment in which he was playing, and even how to even position his product within that segment. He didn't understand whether the product was for group A or group B. And that is why it's very critical that in planning your sales strategy or your go-to-market approach, you try to understand the market and try to establish the product market fit. And it is very critical that that happens. Is your product a premium product? Is your product a mass market product? You need to understand the pricing. Who are you targeting? I'm targeting students. I use our currency as an example. A student is barely earning maybe 300 Ghana cedi. So if your product is sitting in that space and you're targeting students, you are forcing yourself out of the market, because perhaps if the student is earning 300 cedis or 400 or 500 from their parents, they are going to pay for, out of that, the share of the wallet, some is going for food, for other needs. If it's a lady, they are buying, hair, makeup, etc. They are buying books, they are printing some handouts and all that. And then you also want a share of that wallet, but you are pricing around 300 cedis. 300 cedis might be about 80% of the person's weekly or monthly earnings. You're pricing yourself out of that market. So if you're targeting students and you know their spend pattern and how much excess money they have to spend on ancillary products or products that are not within their core requirements, then you are pricing yourself out of that. And that is a typical example of a product market fit. It influences your go-to-market, it influences your pricing, and even influences your marketing and advertising campaigns, because once you know that you are selling a product that is targeting older people, maybe 65 years and above, social media might not be the place where you spend too much of your marketing budget, because my grandfather who is 65 or 70 is not on social media. They are sitting at home watching TV. So you know that you are going to do maybe TV or radio or print or even direct marketing using the traditional channels. You don't want to spend so much on your digital channels like your Facebooks and do a Google ad. It will never reach him because he's not even on a smartphone, for example. So it is all part of understanding your market and then targeting it to the products that you have. And that is a sweet spot, which is a product market fit that you need to be in. And so there's another dimension of customers. So now the customer demographic has really transformed. I mean, with technology, with modernization and globalization, a lot of things have changed. In the past, the salespeople or marketing people or business people used to dictate to customers. Now customers do the reverse. And so the modern consumer makes decisions at their own pace, on their own time, and on their own terms. And that is why I said that the customer can cause you to even change your pricing and go to market. You can run a business for 3 months or 6 months and realize that you are not speaking to anybody. And if you want to talk to anybody, you would need to change the approach, either your touch points. A typical example is a few years ago, the banks in Ghana started this digital transformation where they want to move a lot of customers from the branch to use the ATMs. So they brought in ATMs that have deposit taking ATMs. They have that functionality to take cash and all that. But the very traditional people still want to go to meet somebody face to face and talk to a human being instead of interfacing a robot or a machine. And if he's making a deposit, he wants to put the money into the hands of the cashier and make sure that I gave the money to you. You don't want to go and put the money into a machine and then later on you say that the money never got to the bank. So whilst we are we are transforming our business to meet with digitalization, you do not force customers to change their user behavior. You walk them through that, because the customers want to make decisions at their own pace, at their own time, and on their own terms. It is when the person is very satisfied with the change that you are giving them, that's the only time that it will also conform to whatever that you are selling. And so you need to keep that in mind, that when you are dealing with customers, you need to understand the customer and meet them on the terms that the customer requires. You go to a customer, you want to sell maybe a broadband service. He's already on an existing service provider, which is fiber. And you go there and you want to introduce a wireless or a radio network so that all the cabling is not around the office. You want to take away all the cabling and introduce maybe a Wi-Fi model. You don't just go there and tell the person, oh, we will make your area cleaner, and you need to speak to the terms. Are you bringing better value than the existing one? Is your speed better than the fiber? He doesn't care about cabling because he's been running this cable network for maybe the last 1 year. He hasn't complained, but you want him to swap to you. You need to meet the customer on his own terms. What is it that your wireless system is bringing that the cable cannot do? And so once you sell that on a rational basis, then the customer would make a decision to buy from you. The second point, the modern decision-making journey is less linear. It is multidimensional and interconnected. Those days, there was a straitjacket approach that you put an ad out there, customer will discover the ad, they will make a conscious effort to reach out to you. Like a linear process. Reach out to you, they reach out, you come, you serve the customer, you close the deal, everybody's happy. Now it is not. It is very complex because there's information, there's competition, there's a lot that the customer has at his disposal to take a decision. A customer can be having conversations with you and you think the deal is getting closed, and the last minute he would see an information somewhere in the newspaper about another competitor and change his mind. And so you need to plan for that as well. Whilst you profile your customer, you need to plan for all that, because the decision-making journey is less linear. It is very complex. Now, the next point is, if you are not proactively supporting consumers along the decision-making journey, you could be hindering your brand and actively helping your customers. And this is very key. I see some salespeople do this. They engage customers, and once the customer is ready and is trying to reach out, a lot of them see it as a nuisance. They say, oh, my work is done. Reach out to customer service, call this line. Do this, because you have done the pitch. The customer is ready now to sign up. If it's a maybe a technology product, you say, oh, call field services or call customer care or call the product team, call this line. You are the one that he knows. I mean, up until the point where he's making a decision, a purchase decision, you are the one that he was facing. So you need to be proactive. You need to support the customer through and through his decision-making journey, from when you make the proposal to him to when the deal is closed. You need to be very interested. I manage a team of 10 sales managers in this company, in DSTV. We target B2B segments, mostly the hospitality, hotels, and the rest. I tell them that you need to be interested in the end result of your sales journey. Once you get the customer to sign the subscriber form, your job doesn't end. Your job, and you submit it to the back office to create the account for the installation to be done and activation, and then the customer is set up and he has pictures. You go to the customer site, you ensure that he has pictures, billing is happening, invoice has been sent. You need to be interested in all that from the start to the end. The entire decision-making journey, you need to help the customer, because if any step in that journey is bad, you would actively help your customer move to your competitor. And we know that the competitors are also very hungry, and they are looking out to snatch any customer that is not satisfied with your brand. So as salespeople, you need to be very interested. You need to be proactive in supporting your customers through the journey. And then modernization, digitalization, and globalization has brought a lot of tools and resources for us salespeople to use to reach out to customers. You can sit as a business, if you are running a B2B business, you can even scan through LinkedIn and prospect on LinkedIn using all the tools that are available there. You can sit in Accra and close a deal in Kenya, in Nigeria, in South Africa without even flying all the way there. So we need to make use of these tools that have been given us and to use that to profile the customers that we are targeting. Because if you go on LinkedIn, at least you have a fair idea of who the person is, what their background, what they do, so that even the tone of your conversation to that particular customer, you would be able to manage that. And then the importance of experience over everything. You need to put your experience to bear. You need to put your experience to bear. Having worked in a number of industries, I've worked in Huawei, I've worked in Vodafone, I've gone outside the country, worked in Dubai, came back to the country when the COVID happened, and then I'm in MultiChoice now. And so I've gained some experiences that helped me in closing very big deals. Recently, I closed a deal about $1 million Ghana cedi with the government to put DSTV in all the government offices for all the MPs and the ministers. So it's your experiences will come to bear when you are engaging the modern customer. Let me move a bit faster. All right. So how do you know who your consumer is? And how do you plan for the customer? Research. You need to know who your customers are, their preferences, their tastes, their behavior towards products and services. You need to understand all that. You need to know what they are thinking and what they are feeling and what they are doing. You need to be able to know what motivates your customer, especially those that are within the segment in which you are targeting, what motivates them. If somebody would buy a DSTV box, what will motivate the person? So today we know that our key selling point is soccer, because we have the Premier League and the Champions League and the rest. But then beyond that, if the soccer season is in recess, what would motivate a customer to buy a DSTV box? And so you need to be able to be proactive to understand that motivation, so that you can plan ahead, that when the season is off and there's no football, how do you sustain your sales beyond that? Those are the things that you need to be able to do. And then understanding the answers to these questions will help you plan very well. Consumer psychology is also very key. You are a customer yourself, so you put yourself in the shoes of the customer and see that if I am in this position, what would I do? If somebody came to me, if I wasn't multi-choice and I was just a random customer, and somebody came to me and wanted me to buy a box, what would motivate me to do that? So you need to understand the customer psyche and then guide the customer through their decision making. So the more you know your customer, the better you can support them through their journey. It is very key. Are you a B2B business? Are you a B2C? Are you a mass market business? Are you an online? Are you an e-commerce? What are people saying about e-commerce that you can fix? And in Ghana, one of the key issues that we have with e-commerce is delivery, logistics to deliver. And Jumia is doing a very great job with that. And so then they will stand out. They will stand out when it comes to delivery. So those are some of the things that you need to keep in mind when you are profiling your customer. And then know the customer journey. From where are your customers coming from? So if you do the segmentation right, you will know that maybe 80% of your customers are coming from Accra. So then you set your consumer budget or your marketing budget to target Accra, because at least you can realize 80% of your sales from Accra. If you understand your customer very well, you know which part of Nigeria your customers, whether it's Lagos or Abuja, or you know where your customers are, you know where you need to invest a bit more. And what are they seeking? The people that you are targeting, that you assume that they are your customers, what are they seeking? Are they seeking your products? Sometimes some products are needs and some products are wants, So if you are selling a want, you need to really up your game and give the customer a reason to purchase. We normally would say that our product is a want, it's a luxury, because a lot of people are there, living their lives without DSTV. They are watching FTA, free-to-air channels. They are digital channels you buy. Right now, you can buy a digital TV or a smart TV and get about 20 or 50 channels, on FTA. So why would I buy a box and pay maybe 100 cedi a month? So it's more of a luxury product than a need. And so once you understand your product and you understand that it's more of a luxury product, you know how to carve the message towards the consumer to spend a bit more than what they are doing on FTA to buy a box. So what are they seeking and how are they looking for it? Your customers, students. I used to manage a youth product called Vodafone X. In 2014 in Vodafone, I launched for university students. So I know that they are on campus, they are on social media, they are the parties, they are the malls. Once I understand where they are, that is where I take my product to. So if you go to Accra Mall, you see a lot of branding on Vodafone X. We have a website, Vodafone X branded. You can request for products and services on the website. We have brand ambassadors on all the campuses. The brand had to be in the face of the customer, because we knew that the person we're targeting sitting on the university campus, and that is where we can go out and get them. And then you need to understand what their potential next steps are. What that means is that if you send a proposal to a customer today, for example, I send a proposal to Bank of Ghana or to Standard Chartered Bank that I want to, bring DSTV into their office. Once I send a proposal, I need to anticipate based on the first line of interactions with them. I need to anticipate that what their next steps will be, whether it will be a rejection, like was discussed yesterday, or will be a success. I need to anticipate. So I need to gauge the person I'm talking to, or I need to gauge the potential of the deal. So I tell my team on their sales pipeline, they put something called a win percentage. So you need to be able to gauge the customer and see between a 0 and 100%, what your win percentage is. If it's very low, then you know the steps to take to address that. If it's very high, then you put in a lot more effort to close the deal a bit faster. And then this understanding creates a compelling, creates a compelling competitive advantage in the marketplace. The more you understand the journey, the better the experience you can create. So technically, that is what you need to do. Once you understand the customer, you can create a more compelling journey for a customer. And then plan for every stage of the journey, because not every consumer, like I mentioned, would have the same journey. So you need to be proactive in your planning on every point of the journey. You need to be very proactive. And then do not ignore stages. You do not ignore consumer segments and customer persona. Do not do that. It would create friction along the journey. What it means is that you need to work, like I mentioned earlier, you need to walk the customer through every step of the journey. You need to plan for every step of the journey. And so if the customer wakes up tomorrow, you sent a proposal to an MD, like I'm sitting here, I'm having conversations with a brand, Coca-Cola, on how to drive some joint activations this festive period. And so I've sent a proposal to them. I'm waiting for feedback. But I have planned from now till the end what I anticipate. If the thing goes well, if they call me today, that's Nana, please come in, let's meet with the MD or the CMO so that we can plan. I know the next steps. You know, I will not be caught by surprise if the guy calls me this morning and says that, please, we are good to go. What will be the next step? I'm now going to say, oh, let me call my marketing manager and get back to you, or let me talk to, no, I've already done that. So if the customer calls me today, I know the next step, what I'm doing, which department is supposed to do what and at what time, and the SLAs that have been defined, all that has been done. We're only waiting for the customer to come back to me and say that we are good to go. So you need to plan for every stage of a sales journey. Forgive me if I'm using a lot of B2B examples, because that's a segment I've been managing for the past 6 years. So yeah. And then aim for efficiency, consolidate and simplify. Make the customer journey very simple. People who use technology to do customer onboarding normally complicate too many steps. When I was doing my MBA, there was a theory called the technology acceptance model, the TAM. It says that ease of use and ease of access will define whether a customer will make a purchase or not. Ease of use and ease of access. So ease of use is, I have your solution. Perhaps if it's a technology solution, I have your app. I open your app, there's a first screen, sign in. So enter name, the normal bio data, you go to next. It says, upload a picture or something. You go next, it says, do bio something. Like 14 steps, for example, to just onboard onto an app. Meanwhile, there's somebody that has integrated to maybe the phone's face scanner. So then once you open the app, it picks that security feature and it asks you to scan your face. You scan your face and you're in the app. Between these two, which one will sell faster? Obviously, the one that has fewer stages and an easier path. And that is what the technology acceptance model tries to define: ease of use and ease of access. And it applies not only in technology, but in every other sales product that we are selling. If somebody walks to the mall and they are going to buy maybe washing powder, for example, unless the person is very hooked to a certain brand, trust me, they don't have any brand name in their mind. They go in and they see one and then they pick. So your shelf life or shelf position is very key. And I tell my people that are in FMCG, you need to fight for a very good shelf, because when the person goes, the line of sight of the eye is where they'll pick the item. So if you go to a supermarket and your product is at the bottom, nobody will bend and look at it. So if you are selling maybe milk and say an Ideal Milk or a Carnation, and you are competing with another brand and your milk is at the lower shelf and the woman is picking, and Ideal Milk Nestle has fought for the top shelf where the line of sight of the eye is, he will just pick it and put it down into the basket and walk away. he will not even bend and look at the one at the bottom. So you need to make your sales journey very, very simple and easy for the customer. Salespeople should try to consolidate and simplify, eliminate anything along the sales journey. And then you need to move toward an ideal customer experience by removing friction and speed bumps. Like I've mentioned, if you're a technology solution provider, remove speed bumps, make your app very light to download. Make it very light to download and easy to navigate. Because if you know that customers are digital natives, they have seen 1,001 apps like yours. And so if yours doesn't bring a differentiation factor, trust me, they will not make time for your solution. And then remain agile. One of the things that people or businesses do not like is change. They don't like change at all. And so they want to remain rigid in their strategy. This is how it is done. So the customer takes it or leave it. Trust me, everybody will leave it and it will be left with you alone. Whilst customers, their businesses are changing with the change in customer taste and preference and the way things are changing with COVID and all that. Some businesses still want to remain rigid. They do not want to budge. It is very, very risky. If you understand your customer, you know that every other day your customer is changing. In the same market, you wake up today and the customers do not prefer, if you're a bank, they do not prefer your USSD because the experience is very bad. I have to dial a code. Sometimes the session will time out and all that. Now they are moving to app. So if you're a bank and you are on USSD and you don't want to move to a banking app to meet your customer needs, and you say, oh, this is how we operate as a bank, we only use USSD, you are missing out because 90% of your customers now are moving to digital banking. So you need to be able to change. You need to be agile and open to change.
I'm sorry, we have to, I hope I won't disrupt your line of thoughts, but we really have to stop now so that you can take a few questions before the next session.
Yeah, so this is the last slide anyway. So you need to, once you understand your customer and where they are coming from, you need to be able to coordinate your budget or your marketing or your sales strategy towards the segment so that you will be able to benefit from the full effect of your sales engagement with the customer. So I'll pause here. Yeah, and then take any questions or concerns or queries that you have. Yeah. So
there's a question in the chat box.
Okay.
What is the role of chatbots?
Where is it? What is the role of a chat box? Okay, so in customer service, the chat box is supposed to extend the functionality of the human interaction to the consumer. So sometimes we perceive some of the customers' questions and responses. We perceive some of the customers' questions and responses, and then we introduce an AI called a chat box to engage the customers. But then you need to give an option on the chat box if the customer would want to talk to a live agent so that it would redirect. Sometimes they find it very annoying because I can type, where can I get milk? And then because that has already been configured, the AI will pick that message, check through the database and give a very standard response. You can find milk at, please call this number. The customer becomes furious. And so even though the chat box extends your customer service during times when maybe availability or expansion is an issue, you want to be able to give the customer another layer where if they want to engage a human being, they'll be able to engage that human being. I don't know if I've answered that question.
Thank you very much. And then probably you could recommend a source or a means by which this participants can learn to write a proposal.
Oh, how to write? Okay, yes. Thank you. My problem is how to write a proposal because I write to governments and okay. So maybe you can reach out to me. We can have a chat on the site. I can engage you in some of the proposals I've written, and I'm always open to that. Yeah.
So please, if there are any other questions, kindly put them in the chat box so that Nana can address them. There's another one there. Okay, there's a question here.
Okay.
Sometimes the quality and cost of production forces one to be rigid. What is your opinion?
If the quality and cost of production forces you to be rigid, it means that you are building products that are not for the people. Because if the cost of production is high, it means that you are building a certain product that the consumers might not be paying. Because once your cost of production goes high, your selling price will also go high because of a profit margin. So if your production cost is 100,000 Ghana cedi, maybe a building, and your selling price is 300,000 cedis, and you're trying to target the mid segment, then you are missing the point. So if you understand the people that you are selling to, you would know within which production cost line that you want to put your product, so that you don't deliver. Quite normally, I tell people that you buy a Lamborghini, go and buy bread. So you don't need a Lamborghini to run errands. If you can afford a Lamborghini, it means that you can use it for something else. So if that analogy makes sense to you, yeah. So my email is what I've put there, naquote2003@gmail.com. You can always reach out to me with any additional questions. I think I've overstayed with my time. So I'll stop here, and then please email me any other questions you want me to pick. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time and for all the knowledge you have shared with us this morning. We're really very grateful to you. We look forward to having you on board again at a future program by the Lungu Business School. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And sorry for running over my time.
No, not a problem. Yeah, good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
So we can take a short break now, just to stretch, and then we'll be back in exactly 4 minutes for the next session, solution selling. So please just take a stretch and be back on seat in the next 3 to 4 minutes. Thank you very much. Welcome back. So right now, I'd like to introduce to you our very next speaker. I'm going to do that very quickly so that we do not eat into this time. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Charles Iluegunam, FNIMN, a consummate sales and marketing professional, logistics and supply chain expert, public speaker, human resource developer, and faculty Lungu Business School with over 30 years post-graduation experience. He is the chairman and CEO of Grace Island Limited, managing partner of Asterisk Concepts, former general manager, business development, Cornwall PLC, former chief operating officer, Cornwall Aviation, former general manager, sales and marketing for Macedon Nigeria Limited, former national logistics manager for Macedon Nigeria Limited, and a fellow of the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, associate member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, and a Paul Harris Fellow of Rotary International. It is my honor to call on Mr. Charles Iluegunam to give us a talk on solution selling. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, our registrar. Can I share my screen now?
Yes, you can, sir.
You see me clearly?
Yes, I can see you
Yeah.
and the slides too.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Are you hearing me clearly?
Loud and clear, sir.
Okay, good. We'll be discussing solution selling. I'm happy to be in this session. I've had quite an exciting moment for the past yesterday and today moving forward. In the next 20-25 minutes, I will be dealing with solution selling. I said the future is here with us. Okay, let me take it with an opening thought here. The whole idea of sales and marketing is to offer solution and not a product, or not product, to offer solutions. And I want to ask you a question. Have you ever stopped to ask, why do people really go to buy product or services? Why do they buy? Is it because they need it, or because they have money to spend and they don't mind? Both of them are correct answer. There are people you call impulsive buyer. These people buy things because they have money. They can just see something, it looks good, they buy it, they keep it, they don't even know where they kept it, they are not using it. Impulsive buyers. But there are people who buy things because they need it, okay? But here we are speaking from the side of the people who sell, sales and marketing. And we say that the whole idea of selling, sales and marketing is to offer solutions and not product. Let us take it from the basics. Look at this definition of marketing. It says marketing has been defined as a management process responsible for anticipating, identifying, and satisfying the customer's need and wants profitably. All right? And I say here, the unique thing about this definition is that it looks ahead of the immediate to anticipate what a customer will be needing. It looks ahead to anticipate. So it captures the spirit of sales and marketing as one that comes alive before demand is even made. Before a customer comes to buy, somebody has scanned the customer ahead of time and decided that this is where the customer is actually looking at. This is where his problem may take him to. And for me to save him from that problem or challenge, I will offer him a solution in that direction. It anticipates customers' need and bears him in mind in the design and development of a solution, which is at the center of our discourse today. Let me give us now, take a leap from the last presentation. Somebody asked a question about having a product that the cost of production is higher than what people are ready to pay. It means you did not key in to understanding who that customer was and the level at which he's operating. If you know him and scan him clearly, you should create something that is in tandem with his capacity at buying and using. Very, very important. Now, what is solution selling? What is solution selling? It is a sales methodology in which a salesperson diagnoses his or her prospect's need and creates or recommends the right product or services to solve a challenge. It is something like having a bigger picture in mind. Look at this pictorial here. Solution selling puts the customer or the prospect in view and looks around him and creates something that will be satisfying to him. I'll give us clarity as we go ahead. Look at the features of solution selling. Number one is that the prospect may not be aware of his or her challenge or an opportunity to explore. He may not know. All he knows is that he's having an issue or may have an issue. Number two, the prospect may not know how urgent his need may manifest or even magnify into a challenge in some cases. He may know or may not know. Here, the salesman is a resource person such that he can help the prospect appreciate and take a line of action to address the challenge that he has. So the salesman is a resource person. The salesman here actually is like a part of the R&D department, because what he sees is what he brings in home for a product or a solution to be created in anticipation that the customer challenges will be addressed. In solution selling, the salesman characteristically sells with empathy. His very action is based on clear grasp of the prospect's circumstances. So he's coming in, understanding the prospect very well, and taking note of how to address him. Now, solution selling is ahead of product selling. Most of what you and I do before now as unprofessional salespeople, or what our mamas and papas and sisters are doing in the marketplaces, which gives the impression that sales and marketing is for everybody to do, is product selling, not solution selling. So you carry something to the head, people have been buying it, therefore let me go and sell it. For what reason are they buying it? You do not know. You haven't asked the why. In solution selling, the size of the why is what determines what the marketer does. Okay, so the solution selling is ahead of product selling. In product selling, the salesperson is looking for immediate self-gratification. He wants to exchange goods and services for money. Okay, product selling. But in solution selling, it is longer term. Inventors operates here with first mover advantage. Hello, are you not hearing me? Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Can hear you.
Okay, somebody spoke.
You are loud and clear, sir.
All right. Now, I said, in solution selling, people who sell here are like innovators with first mover advantage, because we come with maverick ideas, with exciting new things. It may be a product you know before, but when they come out with the offering and the method in which they are offering, it changes the entire terrain of sales and marketing. What would you say about the following product? Uber. People have been moving from one point to other, from point A to B, all over the world, from the beginning of history. You know that. But somehow, who is this? Please, who is this?
Registrar, can you mute everybody and leave the presenter, please? Can you mute every other person? Since people are not disciplined to do that. Sorry. Thank you, sir. Sorry for the distractions. Okay, look at Uber. We are talking about Uber. I said people have been moving from point A to B before now. But somehow a group of people Mr. Lebunam, can you unmute yourself, sir? Can you unmute yourself? Thank you.
I have done that now.
Thank
okay.
you.
Now, I said in Uber, a group of people came together and said, can we offer a solution that will address the concerns of commuters? They still want to move from point A together, but they have issues of convenience. Before now, people go to the bus stop to go and pick a taxi. But the consumers of today wanted convenience. They wanted somebody to come and pick them at home. They are concerned about security. They are concerned about the payment system, about the feedback mechanism, about the assurance that they will be satisfied after they take this trip, okay? And somebody compounded all this together and offer it a solution, as a solution. Let me tell you the truth. Uber sells in Nigeria with a lot of security challenges, much more than in UK. I tell you the truth. Because in UK, they have a transport system that moves people immersed and everybody is satisfied. But here, we do not have all that addressed. So when Uber came in, it became a hit because he looked into the life and moved into the future and created something that addressed what we are into. That is solution. I'll give you another example here. Look at Zoom. Zoom was launched in the year 2011. It was a product that was created looking into the customer of the future. It didn't quite blossom into a very big success, but they were doing something until something serious happened to humanity. During lockdown, during COVID, everybody was shut in, and the need of this product that offers a solution came to the fore, and they blew up into a mega success. This is solution offering because somebody had anticipated. It was not like waiting for problem to come before you go create a solution. There was an anticipation. Remember, before now, you had always had video calling like on the Skype, but it wasn't addressing the totality of using this medium called Zoom, like for what we are using it for now, or addressing a larger crowd, or teaching distant learning, and so on and so forth. So it becomes like a boom. Why? Because it looked into the life of the people ahead of time and was able to design something that could be fit for purpose, addressing issues on a time like this. Look at Cowbell. Let me take it home to Nigeria. Some of us who are in this platform today remember this product. And I said to us that the owner of that vision called Cowbell or Promasidor, he told us that he saw a continent that required protein, but with little disposable income for the way that the product was being served. In those days, you see milk in tins, and they cannot afford it. So he thought of, what do I need to do with this large population in Africa, starting with Nigeria? So he said, let me serve them this protein in very little small sizes, where they can pay small amount of money so that everybody will be able to afford protein in milk form. I tell you the truth, the story we are telling today about Promasidor was incidented on this particular solution. Because the man looked into that population he saw the need of that population. He created a product that addressed that need, and it became a boom. Something happened with all these three. I want you to zero your mind to this. All three have something in common. They all presented some form of disruptive innovation. The way things are being done before, these three solutions came in and disrupted the way things were being done and did it in another way that made the people to accept it, and they moved on. I have to warn us all though that this presentation is something that's supposed to take us about 2 days to discuss, but I'm running with the fast lane. I'm running with the fast speed so that in 20-25 minutes I'll be through. So don't worry about my speed. Okay. Remember, disruptive innovation refers to innovations and technology that make expensive, sophisticated products and services accessible and more affordable to a broader market. Look at what the change in telephony did. Remember the day we were using wire telephone. Look at what the GSM did. It brought it home to everybody. Technology reduced the expense on that and give everybody accessibility. It is disruptive, but it solved the problem of the people. And I want to tell us the truth. For those of us who are here, who are thinking into the future, it's only a disruptive innovation that can change the problem of power in Nigeria. Unless we forget about KCN and NEPA, we cannot solve that problem. I'm just creating events for us to look into and see where we begin to talk about. Maybe we're going to use the renewable energy to solve that problem in Nigeria. Look at the flow of solution selling. First of all, you ask the right question. In this question, you do the right observation. A set of pre-created questions are used to diagnose the needs of the prospect, either current need or future needs. And you observe the people as they do what they do, and you, number two, go into create solution that best present capability of solving that problem. Okay, when you have seen what is playing, what is bugging the people, you create a solution that is best fit. Out of a number of solutions that you created, you serve them the best. The game plan will be for the seller with clear understanding of the problem to advance the solution, the benefits, and the administration. Now, when it is well done, apart from the initial delay in acceptance, the moment it goes in, it becomes a success. That's what solution selling does. Excellent product knowledge is key here in offering solution selling, as well as competitive advantage over what competition is offering. Solution selling must drop competition below and operate on a level higher and above what competition is currently doing. What product selling does that people sell generic product. I am selling needle milk here. Another person comes to sell pig. Another person comes to sell this. In the same offer, in the same offering, in the same manner, in the same style, in the same way. Now somebody comes and says, I will change the way they are making that offering. That was what Promasidor did. And the moment they change it, it becomes a solution that addresses every other person who has been in that market now and came back to copy. That was what happened, if you remember that process. Dr. Salahuddin, both of them, Jibril Salahuddin and Mohammed Salahuddin, will bear me witness on this. Now look at the two dimensions of people who are in the market, the traditional selling and the product selling, which is traditional, and the solution selling. One side of it is where you have followers and laggers, which is product selling. On the other side is where you have solution selling. There you have leaders and innovators. I told you that people who sell solutions are like inventors, innovators. They create things for the purpose of solving a problem which may not even have been seen by everybody. They see it with an eye of a maverick, looking into the future. It's like looking at a telescope to see what ordinary eyes cannot see. Look at the two comparisons. In traditional selling, supplying a solution to a well-defined problem. You know the problem. People wanted milk. People wanted food. So you open a mama put. So you give them what they wanted. You are responding to an request for proposal. You are responding to request for information. Somebody wanted food, you give him food. Somebody wanted water, you give him water. You are providing a right sizing solution. He wanted a bottle of water, you give him a bottle of water. If there will come somebody who want to provide something in solution selling, for example, using potable water as an example, we create a portal where on the street in Nigeria, where you can vend out water to the temperature that you want it, and in the way and manner you want it, whether you want iodized water, you want ordinary water, you want sugared water, or you want the one that is salted based on the health need of the people. Now I'm saying this because it's the way to think about solution selling. Solution selling goes beyond the ordinary to create something exciting that will sit in the mind of the persons. Let me give you another example, which I didn't put here. Look at the two kinds of buses you have in Lagos. If you know Lagos very well, the red buses, which is the BRT, and the current BRT buses. Somebody has sat back and thought of who are the people who are commuting in Lagos majorly. Who are they? People who may not have their own vehicle, who may have a need to run so many places. And who are these? People between the ages of 15, school children, and 35 and 40. And what do they need? These people are always handy with their gadgets. They want their phones with them. They want internet services. So in the blue buses, they did not only provide the need for commuting, they did not service only the need for commuting, moving from point A to point B. They provided ports where you are going to charge for. They provided internet services, hotspots inside the vehicle. What does it do? It brings in a mega attraction of the customers to them. Go and stand at any of the bus terminals. When the red buses loads one, the blue buses have loaded 30. And the line will tail to the end. What are they selling? They are not just selling committed. They are selling a total understanding of the challenges of these people who are committing, configured it into a solution, and they offer it in one go. And you pay a premium and you are satisfied. People who sell solutions will always be in the market. The market is for them. And that's why I say in solution selling, the future is here with us. You do not need to wait for tomorrow to sell it. You create it now and begin to advance it. The moment that idea, the time for that idea comes, it becomes a bang. Summary of our proposal. In solution selling, the future of sales and marketing starts now, not tomorrow, now. Are you into sales and marketing? You have to be innovative. You have to be empathetic. You have to be strategic. And secure your space and relevance. When you hear somebody define sales and marketing as winning and keeping a customer for life, I take it again, winning and keeping a customer for life, defining marketing as winning and keeping a customer for life. How can you keep somebody for life if you are not innovative? You know that success is a shifting post. What makes somebody happy today cannot make him happy tomorrow. Therefore, you needed to tweak what you are offering to increase the satisfaction of the person as they go by. If you are not futuristic, if you are not empathetic, if you are not looking ahead of that customer, that tomorrow will come and meet you unprepared and you go into obsolescence. That is why successful products actually die off. So many successful products, I'm not going to mention them, that started very well and died. But people who know what they are doing keep on changing their product until they get what they wanted. The same generic product, but tweaked in another form. I'll give you another example. Somebody who is selling a 360 degrees armor-plated vehicle is not selling a vehicle for locomotion, for moving from point A to point B. He's selling to a class of people who are minded about their security outdoor. He's selling to a group of people who have money. He's selling to people who know that they may be shot, they may be bombed, they may be killed. And what does he do? He provides for them a cage that will give them protection for now and for tomorrow. I tell you the truth, the specifications of armored plated vehicle will keep changing for such class of people as the day go by. As technology in ballistic increases, technology in providing armored plated vehicle will increase. The man who is going to sell it will be an innovative salesman, will be a creator salesman, he will be somebody who looks ahead of time, offering solution and not a standardized product. If you are selling a standardized product and service, you are going to go into obsolescence. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm closing in at my time, but I want to tell you that in my company, in Asteris Concepts, as a consultancy company and a training company, this is what we do. We prefer to hear you out and look beyond now for your sake. We read the vital signs. Then we create and serve you a unique solution. That is why before we bring you into our training, we'll ask you, what are the challenges you are having? Can we think through it with you? So that we create something that looks like a turnkey that will address you, because we do not sell to the general public. And that's why we say, that's the reason we say that we are Asterix and we lay the emphasis. You use the Asterix to lay emphasis on what is important to you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I want to stop, because I have actually, I don't really want to be stopped midway. So I try to encapsulate it in quite a simple form. If we have another opportunity, maybe we'll expand on this and expound on it clearly for us to have more understanding. We are on question and answers. If you have any question, I will take on them. Registrar, are you still there?
Yes, sir, I'm right here. Please, if there are any questions, kindly type them in the comment box.
Good.
So that Mr. Ilegunam can address them right away. Thank you.
Okay, the chat box is alive. Let me see. Okay, no. Any questions, please?
Please feel free to ask questions. Okay, there's one here. It says, please, sir, give an example in the soft development.
What does it mean by soft? What does it mean by soft? I don't understand what soft means. Is it software or soft drink or soft what? Soft what? Sorry.
Kindly expatiate.
Software development. Now, for people who are into computer services, okay, most of the apps you are dealing with, okay, have you noticed that more people, more government operators or executive in government use more of Twitter to communicate their messages rather than Facebook? Why would you think so? Both of them are mass, both of them are modern, both of them are social media. But why is it that most of the president of nations use their Twitter handle to bring out information rather than Facebook? Why? That is how I want to answer you there. You wanted to know about software development. I asked you a simple question. Why do you think that people who are into serial-minded things like governance use Twitter handle more than Facebook to do what they do? Or why do you think that people who are into fashion use fashion and entertainment, use more of Instagram? Why? Because that is what speaks more to what they do. Or what is amenable to what they do. In solution, you apply a channel, both the channel, that means the style, format, into what you do. Because it is more regulated, you answered. Because it is more regulated. Why? Because government is a serious business. Therefore, you stay in there where you do not have issues that will pollute the message you are sending out. Thank you for that answer. You asked the question and it came back to us. To what extent can we say Uber is an innovative solution in Nigeria? Very, very innovative solution. Can I tell you the truth? Very, very innovative. It was imported, yes. It was imported. It doesn't matter where it was created. It was imported, but while importing it, they looked at the environment. It wasn't everywhere in Africa that Uber had started, or started at the same time it started in Nigeria. The point was that it looked at a country that had a need for all those and brought it in. How do you avoid stealing things? Stealing had always been there. What people do, including in computing, including in software creation, is to try as much as possible to encrypt what you produce, to have a trademark registration on your product. If the law of the nation where you are operating has a provision on protection of the right of an inventor, you are well and safe. If somebody steals from you, you can get him and track him down and he will be punished. If the law is lousy, I won't tell you like somewhere, if the law is lousy, you may have to contend with the issue of stealing for as long as you are in business. I'll give you an example. Sorry, if you are a banker here, please do not be surprised with me. Don't be angry with me. I want to ask us a question. Why is it that you open an account today you go to a bank and open an account, before you get to, somebody will call you that your ATM, they want to reconfigure it, they want to tell you one or two things, and these are fraudsters, and you'll be asking yourself a question, is there somebody in the bank who is relating with somebody outside who is also a fraudster or a criminal? I'm not saying there are. You will be asking that question because you have just given your information to only one person in a bank, and you created a bank account, and as soon as you come out, you are receiving a call from somebody who wants to scam you. You know why? Because the system we are running is protective of those who are inside. Otherwise, if a scammer calls you on an account you created today, the bank should be answerable to you. Let me give you another question. Why is it that the ATMs in the bank, you have a bank with about 24 ATMs in an ATM gallery, and only one of them is working? There's no network in the other ones, and all around the same bank, the POS services in all around that area are all working. They all have network. Is there a corroboration between the people who are doing the POS services and the bank people who are operating, who shut down their own system so that POS will work at a premium? I don't know. But I want you to check that some of these things are issues that somebody will look at. When the last speaker was speaking, he was talking about ATM, the one that vends money and the one that collects money. Let me ask us a simple question. Why is it that many people are not paying money through the ATM? Paying money through the ATM. Why? I will tell you the reason is very, very simple. The reason is that The populace around Nigeria, for example, have not been satisfied with the use of ATM for vending money to themselves. Sometimes you see people, they will collect money out of ATM and count it because it has been proven that you can get money from ATM and it will be short amount you wanted. Yes, you have actually put, sometimes you want to vend money for yourself and it will not give you money, but your account is deducted and you take 7 days for it to reverse or 24 hours to reverse. What if you wanted to pay money for somebody and you go to the ATM and pay in the money, and for 24 hours, for 7 days, it has not been paid in, and you are owing somebody, and you needed to keep good faith? You see why that system will not work until the first leg of vending money to the owners of the money is corrected. So when you are serving somebody and you have not built goodwill, you cannot create another level of service based on the one that you have a poor goodwill on. Good day, sir. Please, can one manage competition, mostly, especially when other competitors are having products less expensive than yours and they serve the same purpose? They serve the same purpose, but they may not serve the same group of people. What you needed to do is to identify your own niche in any market, in every market. Identify your own niche. Stay in your niche and serve that niche. You cannot be everything for everybody. Number two, the communication of what you are selling to your own niche is very, very important. Some people use the communication meant for another class of people for their own product. Therefore, if you are communicating to people who are already keyed into another class of product where they believe they belong, you cannot use that communication to sell the product that belongs to another niche. I'll give you an example. You may not like it. While I started selling cowbell as a toddler salesman, a woman who wanted to buy my product told me that she wanted to give my product to her dog and see whether the dog will eat it and not die. I smiled within me. I wanted to sell. I say a toddler salesman. I wanted to sell. I didn't mind. I gave her the product. But I was serving her product every week. That time she was buying. One day I came into her house in the morning and I saw her using cowbell milk. It wasn't meant for her dog again. I didn't say anything. I know that somebody has switched use. She has started using the product. For as long as I served as a salesman in Onitsha, the woman was buying. You know why? Because the language, the style of my communication suited her. She felt I was going to be angry and run. I wasn't angry and I stayed on. So choose your language, even when you are selling the same product. Choose your niche, stay in your niche and communicate right. That's what I think. Any other question, please? Ajay, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the very insightful session. If there are no other questions at this moment, we'll take a break, a coffee break, to reconvene at 11:55 a.m. for the group session. Like I said, that promises to be really, really exciting and very insightful as well. We thank you once again for your time and for joining us in these sessions. So we'd like to go on a break now to reconvene in about 25 minutes. Thank you very much, Mr. Gunam. Wonderful presentation as always.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, sir. So our next session will be remodeling your route to market to meet customers' expectations. Please take a break now, a coffee break, and we'll be back at that time. Thank you. welcome you back to the session. Thank you so much for taking out time to attend the conference with us today. So we'll just go right into the next session, which is a group discussion on remodeling your route to market to meet customers' expectations. So we're going to have 3 discussants in this session. And although you've met each and every one of them, we're going to do a brief intro of each of them again. First of all, we're going to have Nana Akoto coming back. Like we said earlier, he's a business professional with experience in telecoms, BAS, media, IT, fintech, and agri-business. His experience spans across sales and distribution, business development, commercial strategy, digital marketing, segment marketing, customer support, and product marketing. He's currently the head of DSTV business in Ghana. Our second speaker for today, the second discussant will be Mr. Charles Iluegunam. He took the last session. He's a consummate sales and marketing professional, human resource developer, and he has over 30 years of postgraduate experience. He's the managing partner of Asteris Concepts, a training and consultancy firm. And he has a very long and colorful line of experience over the period of time. We also have with us this afternoon, Dr. Mohammed Salahuddin, who is an economist, management strategist, and world-class marketing and sales expert with multidisciplinary scholarly background in research and practice. He holds 2 PhDs and he's a chairman of the Nungu Business School. He's also the host of this conference, the West Africa Sales and Marketing Conference. So I'd like to invite all the speakers to kindly, let me take down this slide, kindly put on their cameras. Nana, oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. So what's going to happen is, let me focus on everyone. And then, so that, step back first. Okay, beautiful. So the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. And I welcome you all. It's nice to see you, Mr. Iluegunam. You're welcome. It was a very powerful presentation earlier. And Nana, I quite appreciate your shared experience, very, very loaded. And I was once in Accra, in Ghana, selling hair care products. I've sold in almost everywhere sold in some parts of Ghana, in Tamale, in Accra, and
all the way to the north.
Yeah, all the way to the north. And I speak a little bit of Hausa, the type we speak in Sokoto in Nigeria. You're welcome. Very powerful presentation. I also use DSTV for information, but you didn't sell that to me anyway. Mr. Mr. Charles Iluegunam, you're welcome.
Thank you.
That was a very, very powerful, insightful presentation. But this time around, I want to take why remodeling routes to markets. And what we're looking at is the beauty of what we're going to do now, the 3 of us, is because we are coming from different background and we have a little bit of similarity. So we can look at route to markets and the need to remodel it and the customer expectation in line with, to meet customers' expectation. That's why we're looking at it. So we can share our experiences. We can look at it critically. For me, I'll suggest that we take it. I don't know what each and every one of us has. I guess everyone can hear me. But then I'm sure we only have about 40 minutes. And within this period, we would like to give a brief of what we think we can share when it comes to the remodeling of route to market. But we are familiar with, Mr. Charles earlier, during his presentation, talks about, it makes a concise definition of what sales and marketing is all about. And this is what we're looking at indirectly when it comes to remodeling route to market. And I remember, and I also mentioned something like that. You are in the market to meet customers' expectation. So you have to win and keep those customers. If you're producing something and you're not doing it because of customer, I think one of you, I think it's another that asked question, what are you doing? Do you believe in the customer is king? Then if you are not doing your business and you're not branding your product or your service to meet customers' expectation, you can as well keep it at home and use it. So we need to remodel whatever it is that we're doing now, especially in this part of the world, because statistics shows that 84% of our business in terms of our channel that we use, we still use traditional channel, Mr. Charles. But we know the world is changing very, very fast. And we know in Africa, it takes us a while to catch up with what is happening in the world. But it is catching up with us. We have seen Uber, like you have mentioned, and it has catch up with us. We thought Uber does not have any investment beyond the technology, Mr. Charles. That is so powerful. They didn't invest any money in anything apart from some technology. And here we are, which means they have remodeled their route to markets. So can we start? I would like Mr. Charles to start on this, discussion. Then Mr. Nana will take it from there. Then we'll now begin to take it one after another until we now get to, because we need to look at why remodel the route to the market first. That's the way I want us to start, if you don't mind. Why do we need to remodel route to market? Then we now know how to remodel the market. But let's look at the why first. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Muhammad Salahuddin. Nana, thank you so much. First of all, let us make an understanding of routes to market, okay? Before you talk about why you needed to remodel it. From a traditional point of view, everybody will say, or majority of people will say, route to market means the channel you want to use to deploy what you have, goods and services, to the customers or the consumers, wherever they are, the channel. But from the modern day view, and looking into the future, route to market goes beyond that. It talks about the channel as well as the channel accompaniment, taking note of who that customer is, so that you may have a product that can serve A, B, C, but A, B, C do not or are not attuned to the same channel. So for each and every of them, more as you are selling the same solution, you have to bring in market accompaniment as is amenable to the individual customer. Now, when you bring in that solution and define the channel with which to reach that customer and add the necessary accompaniment that is attributable to that particular customer, you are right on target. If you have a great route to market plan without a good accompaniment associated with it, you shall have lost it. So fine, why do you need to remodel it? Technology is changing, test is changing, demography is changing, classifications of the market is changing. If all this is changing, it means the channel also may have changed or may have to be rewired or reworked. That is number one. So if you stay where you are, when every other indicator has shifted, you go into obsolescence. Dr. Salahuddin has just said now, you can as well keep your product in your house if you are not minded at serving the customer. So the idea of route to market is, how do I get to this customer in such a way and style and manner that the customer will be appreciative of what I'm selling and the way I serve it to him, not just what you are selling, not just the core product, but the total of augmentation and the product to give a whole product. If all such things are not added up, there will be a problem. So that is the why. A lot of things happen. So you needed to also move in the direction of that change, even forecasting moving forward where it is headed to. That's what I think for now.
Yes, Nana.
Yeah, I don't think I have to add any other, but anyway, I think it's just like my senior colleague has mentioned. You have a product, you need to take it to the customer. The reason why you need to reflect and change your strategy is based on consumer demand or customer taste and preference. sometimes shift in market dynamics can also influence the change in your route to market approach. I give an example with COVID. A lot of the e-commerce companies in Ghana were focusing a lot more on electronics and, men's wear and women's wear. And when COVID happened and the lockdown happened, people were home. The most requested items were groceries, toiletries, and the rest, because people couldn't go out and fetch those things themselves. And so quickly you need to adapt and change your strategy. At that point, nobody cares about a wristwatch or a shoe because they're not going anywhere. They're locked down for like 4 months. But they care about, he needs to have toothpaste, he needs to have cream, he needs to have sugar, So immediately, those who caught that wind of change adapted and quickly started sourcing those things, and then started doing delivery, door-to-door delivery, because the delivery companies were allowed to operate per the COVID rules. And you don't lose your market, you respond to the change because the market dynamic had changed because of COVID, and the products, consumer taste and preference has shifted from the regular electronics and things and now to household items. So they needed to adapt and start stocking those things and then changing the approach to which they sell. So those are some of the things that can influence your
thank you. Thank you, Nana. I can see. For me, there's a lot of reasons why one needs to remodel the route to market, depending on the kind of business that you do, or whatever it is. We know that when a business takes a bell shape in the approved life cycle, especially when they are old businesses, if they are new businesses, you need to do a thorough check. You don't do a traditional approach to selling. You have to provide solution to exactly like the people need it, not just what you think. But when it takes a bell shape and you need to reactivate, you need to do something different as technology changes, digitalization happens, like we do the virtual activities now as the learning in different industries, in different sectors, things begin to change. Then based on customers' expectation, what is it that they need? You need to meet their expectation. They don't have to come to you, you have to get to them because competition is also chasing you. And it is important that if you must do something different for you to be able to continue to be in business, then you have to do the disruption of the market by doing something completely different, like we see with Zoom. And when Zoom came and everybody was using Zoom, within the first 3 months, Zoom business grew by over 300%. Their share went up by over 300%. Then we now see Google Meet now started, and they now started offering it for free. Google came to disrupt the market, but unfortunately, they came a little bit late. People were so used to Zoom. And it's not as if Zoom started this business of virtual. Some other businesses have been doing it. Like we have Visco doing that long before Zoom even. But then they weren't very visible. They didn't remodel also in time. But when they started right on point. They started by disrupting the market completely. People now do synchronous in terms of delivering lectures. Some of you even do recorded. You can record it and now share it with your student, and they now use it even when you're not live classes. So these are innovations, really disruption that happen. So you have to be proactive in your approach to what competition is doing. And that is more the reason why remodeling must take place. So which is a nice one. And I think if we need to come back to this, fine, but I want us to look at it differently, just like we have seen the definition of route to market. How then do we remodel the route to markets? At the same time to meet expectation. Mr. Charles, I'm coming to you with that to look, what is it that we now need to do to remodel the markets? We are offering services, you're offering a product, and you're offering brand. What are those things you need to do? How do you do that? Mr. Charles.
Okay. Now, when Nana was talking about making his earlier presentation,
yes,
knowing the customer,
yes,
which you can actually call customer profiling, having a mental image of who the customer is, he listed a lot of the questions you needed to ask to understand who the customer is. First of all, knowing the customer, knowing his tastes, knowing where to find him, how to find him, when to find him, what he reads, what he watches, where he spends most of his time, what his likes are, who are his friends, the people he associates with. All these questions will form a whole gamut in the basket of painting that picture of who that market is. When you have known him, then you decide, how do I meet him on a good note? I'll give you an example. Meeting somebody like Jibril, like the Dr. Salahuddin, may be difficult. But if Salahuddin go to mosque every Friday for Jummah prayer, and after he comes out of Jummah prayer, he is cool-headed, believing he has just met Allah minutes before, you can come to him there and have a warm embrace and begin to introduce one or two things and extract a complimentary card from him that will take you to his office the next day. It is a route to market. You got him on a time when he was clear-hearted. On a good day, if you meet him in an office and start a business, he will shout you away, he will run you down because the pressure of that money may have hit him. So route to market asks a lot of questions. This customer, do I know him? If I know him well, when is he amenable to listen to me? Who can give me a lead to him? If I want to communicate to him, which channel or what does he watch? What does he read? What are those things? You see, all answers to all these questions bring you closer and closer to the mental image of who the customer is and how you want to sound it. So you create, I always insist, create something that is peculiar to that particular customer, because you don't treat customers as numbers. It's an error to treat customers as numbers. They are human beings with taste, with style, with emotions. And when a salesman tells you forget about emotions, he's not a true salesman. We know that that is a cliche. Don't put emotions here. The study of emotional intelligence in recent time is indicative of a fact that without emotions, you can't really do business. So the entire idea of the customer's emotion matters. You have to bring in all these things. When you ask all those questions, it will help you to bring in the materials in modeling. And I say treat him as an individual, treat him uniquely, treat him in his own way, because no one customer is the same person with the other person, especially when you are selling a serious-minded product. When you are selling everybody's product, fine. You can decide to do what you want. But when it's not everybody's product, for which you wanted to create standards, you have to look at the person who's going to use the product, and everything about him is what you bring in. Let me ask us a simple question. Why is the man who sells alcoholic beverage, very high brand alcoholic beverage, put a glass on top of it and seal it together? Why? Is it because you don't have glasses in your house? You have glasses. But you are thinking, this man may want some kind of ornamentation, some kind of beautification, some kind of accessories that will give him the feeling of class in it, in what I am offering him. And you package glass and you do the packaging in such a way that when he sees it, his ego is bloated. That is about the customer. To some other person, you can throw him an empty can of what you are selling and he will take it. To that particular customer who's going to pay you premium, who you want to stay with you, following you all through your lifetime as a salesperson, you will meet his taste, you will exceed it, you will give him pleasant surprises. All this will come in creating the route to market. All right?
Thank you, Mr. Charles. Nana?
Yeah, I think
I know
after you,
I know you have used,
After
have used a lot of your presentation. Go on, please.
yeah, after you call the customer, I think a lot of the work is within the company. So
Okay.
you need to identify which part of the company that needs the change, especially if you need to redesign your go-to-market or route-to-market approach. You want to identify, is it marketing, is it sales, is it channel, is it customer service? Where do we have to change? If it's a 360 or a 180 degree change, where do we have to change? Is it our business processes? We need to cut short some of the processes to make it quick in terms of delivery to customer, because right now we are changing our approach. So whilst you are fixing the customer and profiling them, you need to also try and match your business processes to the customer that you've profiled. And that's where you will get the product market fit that I mentioned earlier. Yeah.
That's lovely. That shows that, which means when you have all these things in place, you are sure ready to go to the markets.
Yes.
I remember in the course of our earlier discussion when we were talking about why, which means it is important that if you want to know how, you have to build a sound business model to accommodate all those whys that we mentioned above earlier. The business model should be such that you have been able to do your research. You know that, okay, I'm not doing well in this area, or I want to use this channel. I'll give you an example of 7-Up industry in Nigeria, or some that just immediately COVID started. They go into production of hand sanitizers, which means they have to redesign the infrastructure, their machines. They've seen another market. They weren't going before. Maybe in the medical circle, nobody drinks 7-Up. Now they now have sanitizers to go into the hospitals, to the clinics. Quickly, they redesign it. They have to change their route to the market. And they were producing huge volume. And they were selling, they were making so much money doing that. Then they've done their quick research. It doesn't take long. And they can quickly forecast the kind of business that they do. I know a woman in Onitsha that was doing a business of, that was importing face masks before supplying hospital, before COVID. That's her job. She just imports, repackage, and sell to hospital in Nigeria. The moment COVID started, what she did was to go to China where she imported and brought in a machine that does that. And because we have the material, she changed her market from selling to small, and she's now selling to medical hospitals, hospitals and pharmacies and even corporates and government. The government of Anambra State and Delta State had to engage her to supply them. That is doing quick research, understanding what's the infrastructure you need to use, and asking a lot of why you need to remodel and change things. And she has been able to do a lot of focus. Now, today, that woman has opened her own big plants in the Southeast and doing very, very well. So, which means if you know why, then your how will come much more easier. Anything you want to add on it before we go? I suggest that we now look at something a little bit different. There must be some essentials for a successful route to market strategy. There must be some essentials. If you must get correct route to strategy, if you are looking at how, what are those things that we must take very, very serious as duty of care if we must start and get a successful route to strategy, route to market? If we must change our channel and change it very well, model it to meet customers' expectation, there must be some essential, basic essential. Charles, want to take that? Want to look at that?
Yes, it's part of a totality of what we've been talking about. First of all,
Yes.
the team at play. The team at play. Team, yes, the team.
Yeah.
You have a current team doing what you are doing. If there is a need in the market to retweak your channel, the route to market, for example, is that team trained to do that? Is that team suited or fitted to do that? Or would you want to rework your team? I'll tell you the truth. Some of the team that we have deployed to the market before are not consummate enough to lead us to the new route to the market. You needed a rework of the team, number one. Even if you have the best of product and you have the best of team, they cannot deliver it to the post. And that would be an issue. So look at the team is a very, very essential aspect of it. Can this team deliver this? If they cannot, do a rework. And that is where the maverick in executives comes in. If somebody cannot turn a corner, please, you have to tell him where to stay. He may fit somewhere or he may fit outside. Because there are some people you are carrying to the market, and out of emotion, you know that they are no longer suiting for this market. But you have to stop them somehow. I'll give us an example, a very clear example. When the English coach decided to retire Beckham, I'm not a footballer, but people were complaining, this guy was too good, this guy was too great. He can place the ball into the post from any angle of the field. But people were saying this guy was no longer playing football. He was now playing celebrity. He should better go with his wife to go and be selling Victoria's Secret or whatever they say. You know what it means. You understand me? That was, yeah, good footballer, yes. But the point is, looking into the future, is this team, the team that looks onto him, will they travel far with him with the kind of life associated with him, where he will stay in a hotel, they will auction everything around him in the morning in that hotel. The pillow, the pillowcases, the mattress, everything, because he slept in that hotel. Was that football again? No. He's moved into show business kind of. So they eased him up and they served better. So when you hear people like us say, don't change a winning team, I don't want to listen to such people, because a winning team of today may not win tomorrow. So if you are looking into the future, you may have a need to retweak a winning team or change a winning team looking strategically. I want to talk about that team exclusively. Very, very important. Let me give Nana the space to.
Okay, Nana.
Yeah, I think before you do any drastic change, you need to prepare a business case, because your profitability is also key to, whilst you are changing your plans and your go-to-market, you need to make sure it's profitable. So it has to be informed by a financial business case on your new approach. Maybe you are getting more logistics, like Charles mentioned, you are getting maybe additional people to come in to help. All that will increase your overhead costs or your production costs. So then you need to see how this change will hit your bottom line. And then against your projected revenue, how much you're expecting this change to bring. Is it worth the change? Sometimes you'll be a bit too aggressive and you might end up doing a drastic change that it might not work in your favor, because then you see that your business will start getting impacted financially. So then you have to have a business case that, for lack of a better word, makes sense. A financial model that you can run with, which would inform which part of the business that you need to change, is very critical. Some people just get up and then decide to change channel, set up a retail shop or a distributor point just because the market is changing. But then after 3 months of operating that model, they see that the returns do not match the investments they've made because they didn't do a business case. So it's very critical that you look at that aspect as well.
Yeah, thank you, Nana. That's lovely. It's like walking blind.
Mm-hmm.
So which means what's going to happen when you start initially, you get to a point and you just fall down. Which means it is important also to start with the customer in mind. If you know that, yes, you're looking for those are the essential things. It has to do with the customer. The customer you're going to sell to in a high-brow area is different from the customer you're going to sell to in the suburb. So like Charles says the other time, he said, look, if you want to sell milk in can and in tin, and you know they're going to be very expensive, why don't you put it in sachet for people in some other low-income earners can have access to it and can also enjoy the nutrient that's associated with milk. So you have to look at the costs also. It's a very, very important aspect, just like Nana just mentioned. Then it's also important to look at the control of the market, because you must be able to continue to be in control, to be able to manage whatever you put to that market. Otherwise, you go in and go out immediately. So you need a lot of control of your people, a team that's like Charles mentioned earlier. Because see, a lot of the team we have an experience with Nungu Business School. There's a team that has been doing very well in insurance, one big insurance company, and they now want to go to non-interest insurance. And they think that the existing team can do it. Unfortunately, it backfires. So they have to come back to be retrained for them to be able to go into that market and now become successful, which means their initial route to market, thinking that the existing team can work, did not work after all. So they have to come back. And so you must be able to be in control. Also, you must be able to match your products with the channel you want to go to, or your service with the channel you want to. They must match. Otherwise, a mismatch will happen, and you go in quickly and come out quickly. Any addition, Charles? Do you want to add any addition to this?
I think
I can see people already asking us questions, but let's finish. I can take the question later.
I think the three arm, if you understand the customer,
yes,
okay, and you do a business case as Nana has talked about, to bring in the entire the composite nature of what it is you want to do, the numbers to make sure that the numbers add, and you look at the team. If you look at the team, then you are ready to deploy. Now, the other thing that matters is that at the point of deployment, You do not just have a straight run. There must be checks on the route.
For the control.
Control, yes.
Yes.
Are we focused? Are we doing what we say we are going to do? Let me tell us something. Most companies and most executives have problems, and that problem is associated with execution. Beautiful strategies, well written, well documented. But when it comes to strategy, they say you are going to do this in 3 times every day. They do it once, or they do it 5 times. At the end of the day, it will give you a false result because your plan says do 3 times a day. All right. Yeah. Even as something as serious as pharmaceuticals and medications for life, people say take this medicine 3 times a day, 8 hours. You see somebody who take it about 12 hours, take it 16 hours. Say, I don't really have time. I don't really know how to obey routine. Now, if you don't obey routine, the thing will not work the way you wanted it to work. So when you set up this, control must have to happen and discipline must have to be applied. That is why even in some serious-minded business, the QC department is stronger than the MD's office. The moment the controls are messed with, he will shut down the entire system. Say, no, you can't move on again. There's a problem with the issues as we agreed you are going to travel. And if you do not follow that route, we are not going to get where you are going to go. So that control is important. That's just what I wanted us to add.
Okay, Nana, in trying to round up this, because I can see questions coming in already, in trying to round up this, there are certain things that we must take care of. When we look at how, there's some duty of care in trying to, if you want, assuming somebody comes to you and want to ask you, what are those things I must be wary of in trying to make sure that I remodel my route to channel, to market, I remodel my channel so that I'll be able to meet customer expectation, and at the same time, companies should be able to make money. I think there are certain things that is important that I think we need to look at. Because I remember, I don't know whether it's you or Charles that talks about being careful with the route you want to go into. Don't rush into it so that you don't rush out badly. What are those things you think we need to take care of? Bear in mind so that we don't, apart from, we'll talk about the customer, yes, we'll talk about the costs, talk about the team, and then the market itself. Is there anything you want to add?
I think the critical aspect would be execution. For me, because you could have a fantastic plan and mess it up. A lot of people will do that. They have a brilliant plan, and then when it gets down to execution, they're all over the place. So thorough execution is very key. You've understood the customer, you know the channel, you've remodeled your route to market, your business case makes business sense, you are now ready to launch, and everything is all over the place. So execution is very key. It could even be in the first line of communication that you send to the customer can put them off, and your whole plan will fall down. So it is very critical that something as small as maybe marketing communication can mess up an entire year of planning or go-to-market strategy. So execution is very key. We need to make sure that we execute both on the ground, and if online or digital, it must marry the two. The tone of the conversation must be the same. The information going to the customer must be the same. You must be preaching exactly what your product is going to do, because you don't want to say something and then the customer gets the product and then there's an anticlimax. Yeah, there's an anticlimax. He gets the product and say, but all this hype just for this. So the execution is very key for me.
Thank you very much, Nana. And I want to say that there's some observation that from experience that we've seen some organizations and companies, they want to go into 2-3 channels about the same time. They're in a hurry. Instead of taking their time to look at it, which one would be safer to go to, which one would be more profitable to go to, which one would be the best to enter, and over time, you get reward. At the same time, also, we see some channels overlapping, but it's important to use the most effective channel, not several channels about the same time. But also, we also have the issue of being patient. People want to go into the markets. They want to go into this particular market. They want to go online. They want to go physical. They want to go to the corner shop. They want to go to the shopping mall. All at the same time. If you now want to do that, they don't know that it takes time to do one after the other. You will have choose the best of the options that you have. So it's important in choosing route to the market. Some of the duty to take care of is to be sure that, look, this one you want to go into may take time. Don't be in a hurry to get quick results. So explore all the details. If you have done your business case very well, done your research very well, to check to be sure that things are going to work for you, at least 80% sure, not 100% sure, before you go into the market. So I'd like to accept if you have any final word. Charles, any final word?
The final word is that selling is warfare. Selling
Really
is warfare. And a real soldier, Colin Powell, says there is something you call the power of overwhelming force. The power of overwhelming force is to identify where you have the critical strength and beat that area down conclusively and totally before you spread out. Now, if you spread out all what you have, you scatter your strength, you will thin out on the impact. And when you thin out on the impact, you aren't going to make a good result. So I advise our people as we go to battle, because sales is war, as we go to battle, identify the area of your strength, deploy energy at it. Remember at the back of your mind, the power of overwhelming force, and achieve what you needed to achieve. Use it as a foundation to build on other areas. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nana, any final word?
Yeah, I would advise that if you are going to do any change to your route to markets, you go through something we call the POC, the proof of concept. You can test in a control environment. So just so you can see the outcome, so you can get live feedback from customers, and that would influence your next line of action. So it's very in solution selling, like Charles gave examples earlier. I was in Huawei as a solution sales manager, and POC was very critical for us because you don't want to do all this investment and the outcome is zero. So just be mindful of that as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. That's fantastic. We have some questions, and I want you to look at this question. Charles, I want you to listen. How do you handle ethical issues?
Sorry, Doc. There's somebody in my office. Give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
No problem.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Mohammed.
Yes, Charles. How do you handle ethical issues, hurdles, in attempting to remodel the route to the markets, especially when the market is the government's?
Gentlemen and ladies, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, that's
talking about ethical issue. I'll give you a quote from one of my friends, George Emetuche. He says, the salesman and a con man, that is a fraudster, look exactly the same, but the only difference is that the salesman comes with integrity. Now, I want you to have that at the back of your mind. At any point in time, you begin to breach ethical issues or begin to breach ethics, you are becoming a con man, a fraudster. And the person you defrauded today will not have anything to do with you tomorrow. So you shall have fought the basic definition of marketing, which is winning and keeping a customer for life. So we go into business as professional salespeople with a mindset to follow the ethical rules completely and totally, not bending it, not warping it. Because the customer you got today, the day he realizes that there have been some landmines on the road against him, he will not come to you again. Nothing is as bad as smelling foul before somebody you are supposed to smell very well. Okay, a good salesman is supposed to be a partner for life. A marketer should be a partner for life. So ethics is actually our #1 tool at getting our deliverables. All right, so that's what I say. Don't ever overlook it. Identify the ethical issues in what you are doing. Please stick to it. It may not pay on the very immediate, but it will pay on the long run. And because we're in business to stay for life, it will pay you off. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I guess that answers the question. Then there's another question. In remodeling your route to market, to customers, is it advisable to junk the old channels, taking into consideration that the new routes will require more efforts and costs? which means by junk, maybe it means to drop it, or to jettison it, and now concentrate on this new one. That's the question.
Now, you don't junk things that are serving your purpose,
Exactly.
all right? Before you junk anything, it means they are purposeless. Then you throw them where you throw things that belong to historical relics. Now, you have something that you are doing that is paying off somehow, but you are looking into the future, knowing that if you do not move, you are going to be, there's going to be a problem. So what you do is to do a hybrid, okay? Create a hybrid. Now when he was speaking, says when you are choosing your channel and you are speaking to over 65 years old and above, you know you can't see most of them in social media. They will read their normal newspaper, they will look at their television, they will still go out to normal things that they know they used to do. So you stay there for them. If they are the demography that you have carved out, they are part of the demography that will buy your product. Now, if they are not there, then you can do a shift. But if they are there, if they are residual few or much that are still your customers and you value their patronage, please, you don't junk anything that is serving you. That's what I'm saying. Even in normal life, we know that we have historical relics that are costlier than what you have
Exactly.
here. So,
Exactly.
so those old customers who are sticking to where they belong, they are premium customers. Okay, so nobody will advise you to junk the old channel, because there are some people who are waiting for you there to patronize you. Thank you.
Yes, there's another question that talks about how does after-sales support affect success of selling? I remember maybe you're referring to some of the comments we've made earlier.
Yes.
How does after-sales support affect success in selling?
Yeah.
I think this is positive, if you ask me.
It affects it very positively. Can I tell you something? What after sales does is that you are taking ownership for what you have served to people. You are taking ownership. Yes, I gave you this, and I still stand by what I have given you, and I'm ready to support you even in use. That's why somebody will sell you a product and come and ask you, how did you feel about what I sold to you? Okay. Now, when you are selling something that you do not want to see the person you sold it to, you are not in business. So after sales services so much supports your business you are doing, because that's where you get referral. When you're talking about referral, they are the people you sold to before. And if you are still showing your face to them, you are giving them support, they will actually refer you to the new ones you are going to say. It actually broadens your horizon. Very, very impactful. Please have a mind on doing it and keep on doing after sales support.
I think there's a lot of questions. Thank you, Charles. I think there's a lot of questions on ethics here. And I'm beginning to wonder that I think our businesses and our salespeople are having a lot of challenges with corrupt officers, registrations, ethical issues, gratification, kickbacks, and rest. I don't want to take it because I can see 3 questions queuing up and talking about this. My concern is that, just like Charles said earlier on, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to keep on playing along with unethical people and selling. It's just like selling a brand that you're not sure of. So if you're going to continue to do this, then you're going to continue to have problems, and your business is going to last. It's not going to last, because these people that are into these corrupt practices, unfortunately, they may succeed in the short run, but in the long run, the business will not survive. But the essence of staying in business and sales and marketing is for you to be there for a very long time. And I'm sure those channels are not the only channels that are available in the market for you to do business. They may be tempting, but it's the role of ethics. One of them says that the role of ethics in sales versus gratification through kickback. What are the rules? Well, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are, but then I think it's important that you stick to the principles. I laid out some 10 commandments yesterday when we were talking about who is a real salesman, an ethical salesman. One of them is that you have to say and deliver the truth all the time.
Yes.
There's a question here that talks about how do you marry the sales team and the marketing team in remodeling market route. The sales team and the marketing team in remodeling the market routes. Which means you have to bring the team together, because the marketing team works for the sales team. The sales team deliver what the marketing team has planned. And the planning of the market even comes from the sales data and information that you get from the market. So how do you marry them? you have contribution, Charles? Or Nana? Nana is back. You're welcome back.
Okay, Nana
Yeah.
is back. Nana, I want to talk. Yes.
Yeah, I had to go to the MD's office, but yeah.
I know your business, just marketing team, the sales team.
Yes,
How do you
yes,
marry them together when you want to remodel? You want to share something with us?
You don't want to be saying something, you don't want marketing to be saying something else, and then you go to the customer and the customer say, I heard this on radio and now you are telling me, you're telling me this right now, sitting in front of me, right? So that is why, for example, in MultiChoice, we work closely together. We are in the same department on the same floor. We have meetings together. We review each other's go-to-market approaches, and then we align on how we all go to market. So it's very key because they are communicating. They have the budgets for radio, for TV, for print, for out of home, for digital. So they are going to tell the people, soften the market, so to speak, before you go in there and sell your product. So you don't want them to communicate that the price is 1,000 and then you get there and actually the price was 1,200. And the customer has already had 1,000, and so he would never understand. Either he thinks you are a fraud or your company is a fraud, just because sales and marketing didn't align. So it's very crucial that the two teams work closely together, which is something that we do here. My next door office is the head of marketing. So as head of business, I just go out there to the next office if there's anything that, and we do every planning together every other day. So that is how I think it should be done, so that you are communicating exactly what you are selling to your customers through your marketing channels. Yeah.
Thank you, Nana. Charles, do you want to add anything? Are you fine, Charles? Hello, Charles, can you hear me? I hear Charles again anyway. I hope it's fine. How much time do we have? Are we done? Moderator?
Yes, I think we have about 8 minutes. If there are any other questions, if there are any other questions, but if not, we can just
okay. There's no more question. Any final word from Charles or from Nana and from me? Then we can round up. We have 8 minutes.
Yeah, for me, like Charles said, it's a war zone out there, especially now. Information is everywhere, so competitors are everywhere. And then I always tell my people the greatest marketing tool on earth is word of mouth. And so a satisfied customer would go and preach your gospel better than any marketing budget can do. So if you satisfy this customer, he would go and preach it. So it's easier to get the information out there, because within his friends and family, if he's saying good things about your brand, chances are that 5 other people would buy. And then out of that 5, another 5 will buy. So word of mouth is very key. So focus on satisfying your customers, and they will sell your products for you. Yeah.
Yes, that's the reality. So today we've had opportunity to have this discussion, but just like you say, as a final word for me too, the reality today is that in remodeling, whether route to market or general sales and marketing generally, today, the breakthrough in the world today that we can see is that we can see a lot of activities around modern selling. Modern selling has gone beyond the traditional selling. You just produce the product or you just develop something and just take it and you think everybody will take it. No, you need to especially have a relationship with your customer. Beyond just selling it, you have to have a relationship with your customer. You have to be your customer's consultant. You have to be their friend. You have to be very close to them. You have to know them in and out. Every member of the family should be your friend. Every member of the team should be part of what you think. You have to position yourself. You have to create an impression in the presence of your customers. Then you have to give a product that is also excellent. If you're able to do this, 95% of your buying decision is guaranteed that yes, because people buy based on emotion. People don't just buy because you have a very nice sales speech. They must feel you, because our decision is not mainly on what we see and what we want to buy alone, but who we see and who we are talking to, how the person takes us. So the level of logical thinking of the customer is very low as against the emotional thinking and the way they buy things. So generally, by and large, that is what we have. And in route to markets, we have to look at those things as we go into the markets to sell and to deliver expectation. Since there's no more question, I think the register will have to take it from here. Nana, thank you very much. I think we lost Charles in between. Nice to have you for the first presentation and this other presentation that we have had discussion now. It's fantastic to you. When next I'm in Ghana, I'll get your details so that I can have
you can reach out.
I get to see. I can see the cannon behind you. It shows that you are ready for.
Yeah, we are ready for war. This is the sales office. We are ready for
This
war.
is slave something in Ghana.
Yeah, it's brutal out here. So yeah,
it's very brutal. Yeah. All right. Have a lovely time and thank you very much for this session.
Thank you.
Rachel, I can take it from here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nana. That was awesome. Thank you, Mr. Charles. Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. Fantastic session as promised. You delivered, and we're really very thankful to you. So we are very happy that we have gradually come to the end of this session and the conference in all. It has been a very successful one. And we intend to make available to you the presentation slides as well as the recordings, because these are conversations that need to be listened to from time to time to remind ourselves about all the gems we have picked up along the way. Thank you very much for your time. On behalf of Lungu Business School, I'd like to thank you all for making our time to join us here. So, Dr. Mohammed, if you, I'm so sorry about that. I just got a message from Mr. Charles that his network just, took him out of the session. So, Dr. Mohammed, if you have one or two words to say, so that we can just round up the entire conference.
All right, thank you very much. It's been wonderful and powerful 2 days from both all the participants and the facilitators of this conference. It's our first in a series of sales and marketing conference from us. And it's been quite an insightful one. We've learned so much. We've been able to appreciate the concept of sales, concept of marketing from different parts of the world. And we've seen what we've done in Africa. We've seen what we're doing in Nigeria and Ghana. And we've seen experience across the world and seen a lot of insightful ideas coming in. We hope that participants so far have learned so much, and they've shared a lot of experiences with us, those that have participated with yesterday and today. And we thank everyone, and we pray and hope that we can only get better. Like you said earlier on, I'm sure this will be available on our YouTube page, so people can go there and get the details. So it's for everyone to have access to it. When next we meet, I'm sure we're going to smile. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Bless you too. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all.